Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. The beginning of May means it is time for another kit build as part of the team over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge. Our hostess this month chose the Not Just for Boys Kit Club to offer us inspiration. And this particular kit is called Noteworthy. And right off the top of my head, I don't see when it was from. But at any rate, she wanted to choose something very different because we've had a lot of pink and florals lately, just because it's hard to avoid that anyway. But she managed to find a kit that takes us in a bit of a different direction. So here is the overview, and I will link you up to their website if you ever want to buy these particular kits or anything else that they have to offer. This company definitely shies away from a lot of the pink and floral and girly kind of stuff. For now, let us dive into these closer photos so we can get an overview of this kit. The first thing I'm noticing here is this fantastic geometric print, and I would like to try and reproduce this, and I have been thinking it over in my head a little bit, and so far I haven't come up with a practical idea on how to do this. So I don't know if I'll be able to come up with something to replicate that. But other than that, I'm also noticing lots of yellow. So we've got full yellow down here, definitely yellow pops in there, and I'm noticing green. So this green plaid, there's a couple of green embellishments, but this kind of gray color, it leans towards the green, I think. So that caught my attention a little bit as well. Let's keep looking. So the kits definitely have close-up views of their pattern papers, and here is what they call the A sides. And we've got the B sides, again, yellows and greens, definitely predominant. There is some pops of blue on this side. Let's see. I'd say that's more green than blue. So there's a little bit of blue in there as well. The embellishment, so the first thing that catches my attention is a stencil, and I definitely am a mixed media lover, so that will come into play. I love these little wooden quote-unquote enamel dots, and I know I have something along those lines in my stash, so I will look for those. We got some gold alphas. We have these semi-florals, but the shape is general enough and in a color palette that could work for anybody. We've got these jumbo word die cuts that I think I'm going to forge this time around. So you can catch my forgery video on the 4th to see what things I actually end up creating on my own. What else? Okay, I think the last couple of pictures are just close-ups of all these things. So we have just kind of random ephemera pieces. Definitely a lot of words involved, but there's some icons, some arrows, and some stars, and a little bit of hearts going on. So those might come into play as well. And the final close-up. So that wraps up the overview. Let me dive into my stash and figure out what I'm going to do this month around. All right, as I was heading down to choose my pattern papers, I started tidying a little bit, and I found this collection by Pink Fresh Studio. And the first thing I noticed was some plaids, yellows, and greens, and some geometrics. And those were all things that caught my attention and are inspiration. And this collection gives me a few options for not only more inspired papers, but some switch-ups to papers. So I did pull that collection. And then I got to thinking, well, May is a load month, so my Layout a Day month project. And if you don't know what that is, I'll link you up below. So instead of having one big kit, I want to do small kits again. Now, I've done this a couple of times, and the reason I like to do this is that it gives me the opportunity to break my kits up into smaller chunks so that they can be more focused. So one of the ways I'm doing that is choosing these other pattern papers that give more of a theme or a mood to the kits. And I did pull out a big stack of wood grain, and each of my little kits will get a wood grain pattern paper because that was part of the inspiration kit. So with the Pink Fresh, I started these mini kit builds or page kit builds with that bold pattern paper, and I threw in a solid color piece, and you'll find that I've got a recipe going here as we move through these kits. And then I'm choosing one kind of focal piece of paper. So as I was looking through this, I couldn't decide between the kind of painterly paper or more of a plain grid paper. So I set that aside and we'll come back to that one. So for this second page kit, I went with a plaid and a solid yellow, both themes from our inspiration. And then I'm choosing between the focal paper here, trying to decide what colors are going to work with these things. I did pull out some greenery or foliage papers, I should say. But I decided that I really like the colors between the two original pieces I picked and those light bulbs. Is this the light bulb paper? I thought it was. Let's see what I'm doing here. Apparently I'm indecisive. All right, I do go with the light bulb. Okay. So this paper it's very subtle gray geometric to it. And there was a diagonal stripe in the inspiration. So I did consider putting that in there, but I wanted to pull in this pink instead. So this is where I'm skewing a little bit towards different feels for each of these kits. And with that pink, I put in a bold floral. So I like the kind of juxtaposition of the florals and the geometrics. So that is interesting. And then for this one, I've got another plaid and another yellow. And I had pulled out this other shade of green, but I didn't get another partner paper to go with it from the Pink Fresh kit. So all the two starting papers are from the Pink Fresh kit, and then the third paper is random from my stash. All right, and then I'm going to finish each little mini kit with a sheet of wood grain. Oh, but before I do that, I did make up a change here because I really liked that painterly paper. And so I added that into a separate kit and changed up the papers. And that leaves me with the ledger print in the first geometric kit that I started. All right, and now this is where I'm going to add a wood grain to each little mini kit. And these papers could totally be one big kit, but you'll see when I get to the embellishments how I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit to create kind of little themed page kits so that when I get to sit down and creating my layout a day, I can just look at what theme I've got going on and pull something quickly. And as I'm finishing up putting wood grains into each of these kits, I'm trying to make sure that each kit has enough textural elements to it. The wood grain definitely adds that, but trying to find a balance between all of the papers in there. And, I'm not paying a huge amount of attention to it. I am just thinking about it as I go. And that way I can get some texture and pattern and shape and a balance between solid colors and more open prints. And I think that makes for a balanced kit. All right, I did make a list of elements that I noticed in the inspiration kit that I want to be sure to add to each of my kits. So I start off with these wood, they're not buttons, they're not enamel dots, just the wood kind of decorative pieces. I am going to add kind of an enamel style embellishment to each kit. And I did start off adding these kind of clear ones to that upper kit, but that upper kit actually has gold accents in the floral paper, so I will move that one down to the light bulbs because I think the shine of those clear ones is a nice theme with the light bulbs. Plus, I found gold that I thought I was going to use with that upper kit, and then I changed my mind yet again as I was going through putting stuff away. I found another gold accent, and it looks like I edited that out a little bit differently because those switched back and forth. At any rate, I am adding an alphabet to each set so that I have something a little bit different in each kit, and that will give me some variety between these kits as well. I did want some word elements in here because the inspiration had quite a few word embellishments, and this is where each kit starts taking on its own theme. So this upper kit has got kind of an adventure theme, and I am going to go ahead and make a label to add to those kits so that as I'm pulling for further embellishments and when I put the kits away, I will be able to keep those themes in mind, and that'll make future scrapbooking even faster. So I've got the upper left is adventure, the bottom, let's do this one. The bottom right is kind of small moments. The upper right is kind of a cherish, and then the bottom left turned out to be, fun and friends. And there's my kitty, he joined me again. I was cleaning up a little bit and I found some of these hand-painted word embellishments, so I decided to tuck those in there. I don't know if I'll actually use them, but I kind of like the pop of black in these kits. So the next element I wanted to add was some kind of die cut pieces. These ones are cut aparts, and some journaling tags. So these pieces do both, and I'm splitting up the colors between the kits in a way that I think makes sense. And then I go through my bin of extra journaling bit pieces and pull out just a few more things. Now I am pulling out more embellishments than I can ever use with these kits. And so one of the things I'm thinking of, if I have a pile of leftover embellishments, I will go ahead and pull 3 to 4 fresh new papers to keep this kit going. It's like leftovers from the kitchen. Another thing that I'm adding to these kits are icons. So I've got stars, arrows, hearts, and so on and so forth. And when I was playing with those, I found a couple more textual elements that I'm going to add in there. And then the last thing I'm going to add to each kit is a stencil for each separate kit. So I do have some hearts for the love and for the friends and fun kit. I've got a map print for the adventure kit. And then a leaf print for my cherish kit, and then just a geometric kit for that final kit. All right, so I am going to store each of these kits in some plastic bags. I always save my plastic bags when I get them from other products so that I can use them up for storing things later. So that is my kit build for this month. I know I'm a little late in getting this posted, but that is just kind of how it's going this time around. I hope you enjoyed my kit build. I will actually be adding a couple more kits for this Counterfeit Kit project, and I will be back later this week with lots of good stuff. So I hope you will join me then. Until next time, have an artful day.